This industry is not what you think it is. Don't let these people fool you, man. These people are always faking and let you know that this is not what y'all want.
Osiris Jaquel Williams, aka YK Osiris, born September 7th, 1998. I can't count the amount of times I've heard entertainers say that the industry isn't worth it or not what fans believe it to be, even down to being controlled by dark energy with lots of backstabbing and betrayal, all from their brand new car or house paid for by the music industry. And it always seemed hypocritical until you understand that sometimes, actually most times, these popular entertainers have families to feed as well as their own ego, and a lot of them learn after the fact how cold a business entertainment can be, where you're hot one day, then the next they're making a story about how you threw it all away, completely broke down emotionally, and became one of the biggest examples of what not to do. When I first came across today's feature, YK Osiris, he always seemed one of those happy to be here artists, filled with fresh energy that I believed to be genuine, who really believed his dream was finally coming true, and happy all the celebrities he looked up to were finally his friends, to the point he allowed them to clown him at every turn into a role he eventually just had to play along with. But most times the people laughing the hardest and right next to you as you enjoy the moment are actually laughing at you and not with you. Soon all the jokes and laughter turned into YK Osiris being typecasted into a class clown role, as he describes it, where everywhere he went people were expecting to make a comedian out of him and losing focus on the music artist he was attempting to be. Everyone realized it except YK Osiris, until he had to lose it all and take a step back to see that the value he held other entertainers to, they weren't returning the love and most likely didn't even love themselves and wanted to pass that energy on. After those industry relationships went sour, it put Osiris in a place where he didn't want life to continue for himself, crying online about not having any friends and couldn't even trust family members who left and right always wanted something from him, something he doesn't necessarily always have to give. He's even said in interviews how he went broke a few times, dropped from his label Def Jam, and had to take a 2-year hiatus from performing, which means the money he was used to was almost gone, just like how he felt about his career and life at that point. He had to learn the hard way that the clown role he accepted back then wasn't the way to go and actually did more damage to his career than good. A career that was on its way, but stunted for these reasons. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to Quick Witted on YouTube for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. YK Osiris is a singer from Jacksonville, Florida, growing up the only boy of 7 children. He was influenced by old school soul, classic R&B, and modern pop and rap records, eventually deciding to make music on his own, later adding the YK in front that stands for Young King. In 2017, he released his freestyles Fake Love and I'm Next that did well on streaming services. He then released the single Valentine that went viral, leading to a label bidding war, eventually signing to Def Jam Recordings in 2018. The following year, YK Osiris was at his peak after dropping the song Worth It that also went viral and landed at 48 on the Hot 100, his only Billboard Top 100 song of his career. He began to associate with many popular rappers like DaBaby, Lil Baby, Drake, 21 Savage, and more, who he would show up with on Instagram Live and YouTube, but no music came from those relationships outside his song Freaky Dancer featuring DaBaby that failed to reach any charts. Stunt number 1, The Class Clown. I'm not sure whether YK Osiris intentionally went down the lane of being the butt of everyone's jokes, but at his peak around 2019-20, it seemed like every day he was showing up on someone famous's live, with them making fun of him and him right there giggling along with them. Only I don't think any of them had his best interests at heart. They were simply doing what all rappers and entertainers do with the person that has the ball at the time, showing their face next to them in order to extend their relevance. It's not a new tactic at all, and I'm not even sure if I feel a negative way about it, as even I understand that it's just part of the game. When that flame dies down, those entertainers that were right there with you all flee to the next hot thing and leave you behind if you let them. The key to defend against this is while that's going on, make sure you understand that every second of it is an opportunity to get something for yourself out the relationship. That way, when they leave, or if they leave, you aren't standing there with nothing gained, but everything lost as far as the heat you gave away for free. Personally, I think YK Osiris is genuinely a good person at heart that craves attention and love from the people he grew up respecting and modeling himself after. On top of that, his energy is always positive in those atmospheres, as he's constantly the one breaking the ice with jokes and laughter even at his expense. But at some point, it began to become a detriment to him because those entertainers saw an opportunity to lil bro him, so to speak, while imaging themselves to his fans as the bigger artists. I don't even think he knew when the joke was on him, as he was getting some of what he wanted as well, being acknowledged by his peers finally, which in the end means nothing. It all turned into him being clowned for the way he dressed, whether his jewelry was fake or not, literally being thousands of dollars in debt to Drake, Boosie, and other rappers, and even Drake subliminally clowning his biggest song ever, making him sing Worth It and perform it for him at his home in exchange for clearing his $60K debt. In the end, Osiris was nothing more than the class clown, or labeled corny to fans who were just being introduced to him, and that image made them not take him seriously, and it hurt his career because of it.
I need a full. You don't owe me no money right now. I swear, I need a full performance though. The real shit though.
Stunt number 2 dropped from Def Jam. By the time his debut album released in 2019, Osiris had no work with any of those bigger artists on there to show for all the connections he thought he had built, and the album was met with mixed critical and commercial acclaim. But with the gold, Valentine, and platinum Worth It, the album eventually reached gold status anyway, peaking at 90 on the Billboard Top 200 and 45 in hip-hop and R&B. Solid numbers, but following that, nothing as far as hits ever came. His Freaky Dancer song with Da Baby didn't do as expected, and Osiris quickly became a cold artist. Being a cold artist on a label like Def Jam, who are used to their artists going multi-times platinum, can have you shelved in no time and eventually dropped from the machine. This was exactly what happened December 2022, and without that machine, YK Osiris pretty much disappeared and hadn't released an album the next 5 years in 2024 on his new label Drummer Records. An album that failed to chart itself or any of the songs. When artists on smaller labels don't produce hit songs, you can understand how they become overlooked and unpopular, and YK was both, added to him having a clown or corny image. When Def Jam dropped him, it sent him into a depression that he couldn't buy his way out of, in the form of pushing his own music, seeing as he's admitted to going broke a few times after having a platinum song and gold album. Stunt number 3, ready to crash out.
Nobody with Osiris, so why the I keep living? Like, I should tell y'all that y'all not getting it. Like, so you tell.
With his career not going the direction he expected, his public image not being taken seriously, and feeling betrayed by industry friends he thought were real, not to mention things going on in his personal life, like not being able to see his kids due to feuds with his baby mamas, one being Love and Hip Hop Stasia, who's twice his age. He also received public backlash for attempting to kiss rapper Suki Hana without her consent at a basketball game hosted by Revolt TV. She later publicly forgave him, but the damage to his image was already done. Financial issues came into play as well, being the supporter of his entire family, having them constantly call for money and expecting him to provide the same lifestyle he worked for and was afforded for them. He says it changed his energy toward people and warned his fans to be careful of the energy you keep around you, even with family. He'd show up at different times, breaking down on IG Live about these issues, even stating that he wanted out the music industry and how it's not a blessing from God, instead from the devil, but he couldn't just leave because that was the only way he had to feed his family. In one of those IG Lives, he even said that he wanted to eliminate himself because he felt he had no more reason to be present in this world, breaking down in tears in the process. That resentment led to the 5-year hiatus and change of direction with his public image and music. Going forward, he wants to be seen as more serious and mature, and also healthy as far as his physical and mental health. All in all, it's sad what happened to YK Osiris, who, as mentioned, I think has a genuinely positive personality and really thought he could make life-lasting industry friends, only to be shown it doesn't work that way because those industry artists are soulless as well after being jaded by their own industry experiences. Hurt people is the same ideology, and it all stunted the growth of a promising artist. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.